Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of August 30th, 2015. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. And happy September to everybody out there. And it is going to be an amazing September. And it's starting off with some really amazing things taking place in the sky. And one of the things I've really been looking forward to telling you about is Venus. Venus goes direct. So this week, Venus will slow down to a halt and change directions. Now, think about, as you progress into this week, particularly the later you get into this week, think about what was taking place in your life in late June. Because what takes place now will in some way clarify or provide further information or forward momentum to some of the issues, ideas, possibilities that were showing up for you as we began the summer. So this is a really important moment in terms of this whole Venus retrograde season that we've been going through. Venus will now go direct and will still be in shadow. We'll retrace her steps. This is the third time she's going to walk over the same sidewalk in the sky right into early October. And so it is going to be slowly but surely over the coming weeks, but particularly as we move late into this week, that we should all in some way have a very, as it's called, the proverbial aha moment. But that's not all. As I've been saying, as we've been going along, as I've been answering questions that you guys have, Venus retrograde doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't mean, just because it's Venus retrograde, it doesn't mean that if you meet somebody, it's, going to just turn on its head and be something totally different. Not necessarily. Venus retrograde sometimes can be good. And it's good in the sense that what information comes out, how you deal with it, how you feel about it, how it works within your given circumstance. And I actually think that this week suggests that there is going to be stuff coming forward. News is going to be coming out, in all honesty. And there's a few reasons for that. One is that Venus will meet Mars in the sky, okay? So Mars and Venus, mythologically, in a lot of cultures all over the world, origin cultures all over the world, we have these two figures, an uber masculine figure represented by Mars, an uber feminine figure represented by Venus. And when these two come together, it is passion, it is awakening, it is feeling a very strong impetus to be with another. So I think that's a very nice way to put it. But it can certainly be a lot of fun, but it certainly is an awakening. So when we have these two meeting in the skies, they usually do about once a year. It tends to be a time when all of us, in some way, are being awakened on matters of heart and matters of love in particular. Now, few people out there may experience this more in terms of their finances with a real drive to improve their circumstances. But for most of us, this is going to be more important. This conversation is going to speak more deeply to matters of heart. Now, I really like it that as Venus is standing still at her most potent, most powerful position, right? So when she stands still, when any planet stands still, its energy is so much more emphasized and so much more felt by us all. Now Venus is going to be standing still, amplifying her symbolic ability to express passion, right? Our ability to express passion. And you add to this even more power that Mars brings. Well, it just tells me that a lot of feelings are going to be coming up to the surface. Yes, honesty is going to be coming forward, but we will feel propelled towards wherever it is our heart desires to go. Now, this isn't all that's happening this week. And the other things that are happening this week actually are very complementary to the things that Venus is doing. And that's the Sun. The Sun is doing some really interesting things this week as well. The Sun will stand across from Neptune earlier in the week as we start the month, actually. We'll stand across Neptune and then move on to speak in supreme harmony with Pluto. Now, the Sun has this type of conversation with Pluto about twice a year. Well, twice a year. The Sun has this type of conversation with Pluto, and it tends to be a time when we can harness great power for change, We have a deep understanding of our own inner resources and how we can use it to improve our circumstances. So, the sun standing across from Neptune. I'll be honest, I'm always going to be honest with you. You all know that, especially if you've been watching me for a while. You know I'm always going to be honest with you. The sun standing across from Neptune, this is about, you know, acknowledging some truth that maybe you didn't want to look at, maybe we haven't wanted to face, maybe looking at where some fantasies have just been that, where maybe we've been filling in the gaps where we didn't know the whole story. So we sort of like just sort of told ourselves we knew, or we felt that we knew, went along for the ride anyways. Well, this is the moment when it's not going to be as easy to just allow that to continue. This is really looking at where it is that there's been gaps in the story and why it is that you have, or we have, allowed those gaps to take place. There can be with this, in all honesty, sometimes this can bring with it a feeling of disappointment, but I don't think that that's going to be that likely given all the other things that are happening, because the sky has to be taken as a whole, right? It's not just one little isolated thing happening in one corner, but the entire cosmos, and just like our entire lives, and how the tapestry of all of creation works together just perfectly. And there are rare moments, there are very rare moments where we get a glimpse into that mystery. However, there is a perfection that is playing out constantly. And so I do trust that this conversation with Neptune is part of that perfection. And the fact that the sun is also almost simultaneously having this very empowering, very fortunate conversation with Pluto, it does suggest to me that what does come forward might be a surprise, but with so much heart-filled energy, so much passion, and so much compassion, really, very much on the surface, so much desire to make things go in a positive direction, to make things change in a direction that does empower. Well, it tells me that whatever it is that does come forward is ultimately information that does empower us and that does allow us to own our feelings, to own our own stories, to own whatever passions it is, whatever it is our hearts are trying to tell us. We are more able to own that, and in doing so, are more able to move our lives in a truly positive direction. In fact, the sun speaking to Pluto, I think this is always an opportunity to move your life in a direction that feels more honest and that feels truly powerful, that feels truly that you are releasing what doesn't matter and you're bringing forward your very, very best, and also a sense of focus on the future that you know with absolute certainty, a very loving future that you are heading towards. Well, thank you so much for watching the introduction. I'm back in my studio. Yay! Thank you so much, you guys. You've been so gracious, so amazing, especially with last week's horoscope. And I'm back in my studio, in my comfort zone. So this is really, really nice for me. And I'm so grateful that you guys have, again, so much love, so much support. Truly so, so very grateful for it. I want to also send a shout out to you guys who have been interacting with me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, my website, nadiyashah.com, and the YouTube comments as well. Please do keep them coming. Sometimes I'm asked questions that are a little bit more personal, that have to do with your unique situation. If that's the case, please do consider a personalized horoscope where I can do just that. Look at your unique chart, given your own circumstances, your own situation, and give you an insight or insights that are specific to you. Now, the personalized horoscopes now have 3 new areas of focus. There's love and luck, money, career, and luck, and also life purpose focus as well. And so a lot of you guys have been giving me some great feedback on those. So thank you. Thank you so much for your trust. Always am very, very grateful for it. But of course, these videos are always out there. Lots of free content always out there on YouTube, embedded on other websites. A lot of you guys out there also share on social media as well. Thank you. And I see you guys embed them on your websites. Thank you so much for that. Truly so grateful for it. Absolutely everything that I put out into the world is to affirm my mission. And my mission is to affirm in the world that the universe is wise and loving. I believe this with everything in my being. I believe that even those moments that are tough, that are difficult, that make us face reality, like we're going to find this week, are part of a very beautiful plan, moving us towards greater love and greater wisdom, moving us towards embodying greater love and greater wisdom as well. And so you being here, watching this video at this very moment, allows me to live my purpose. And for that, I am eternally grateful. Thank you. So how all this wonderful stuff happening this week speaks to you and your sign is coming up right now. Hello, fabulous Aries. This week we have got Venus meeting your ruling planet in the sky right when Venus is at her most powerful. This is just so romantic. I mean, I think this week the overall riding theme will be matters of heart, matters of creativity, matters of what you want to give more and more energy to, that you want to see grow more and more. And of course, love is going to be a big part of that. And so if you think back over the course of the last year, we had Jupiter moving through this part of the sky. So some of those blessings have been extended as Venus has been in this part of the sky. So even though Jupiter has moved on, Venus in this part of the sky has been allowing you to still reap some benefit of the romantic energy that Jupiter was trying to bless you with. This week, as Venus and your ruling planet meet, I think you are going to be feeling more beautiful than ever. You're going to be feeling attractive. You'll feel your heart wide open. If you're in an established bond, you will be feeling so much love for this person, so much closeness, and wanting that bond to really last, dreaming of a future and all that you could do together, all you could create together. If you're open to meeting somebody new, this is some really amazing celestial energy to have that come together for you. But I gotta say, Venus is standing still. Venus has been retrograde, standing still. If you find yourself in a position where you're still open to meeting somebody new, it could fall together for you really nicely this week, but it is unlikely it will be somebody brand new. So it may be somebody who's been sort of in the periphery, in the ether for you over the course of the last few months, and then you sort of have this very romantic moment, romantic exchange, and it ends up feeling really right. It ends up feeling really good. So you feel like things are moving very positively forward for you at this time where it comes to matters of heart. Now, this particular conversation also speaks to children, okay? So if you want children, this is a wonderful energy to make that happen. If you don't want children, you can manifest this energy in different ways. If you have children, you should be feeling a lot of love and a lot of warmth as well where it comes to your child as well. Also, creativity. As I said, creative projects or creativity is on high. This is the time to really tap into where it is that you really can manifest some amazing creations that you really are very proud of. Finally, I do want to say the Sun opposite Neptune this week. I have a feeling as I look at this that there are going to be some Aries out there who feel like at least where it comes to their work, they may feel a little lost. They may feel like, I don't really know what's happening, what's really going on, how secure is my position. So that might be the general feeling, especially earlier in the week, but it will quickly pass. The answers will come, and very quickly you'll find yourself empowered to make some really wonderful and positive gains in the workplace or in the work that you do. Hello, fabulous Taurus. This week, Mars meets your ruling planet, Venus. So Venus as your ruling planet will be standing still in the sky, meeting Mars as well. I think that for you, if anyone out there is going to have a moment of passion, a moment of passionate clarity, and a moment of just feeling so much drive to move your life forward, especially where it comes to matters of heart, and especially where it comes to sort of anything from the past, even if it's residual, even if it is something that you thought didn't work out, you thought maybe it could, maybe you were a little bit reflective. I mean, this is really going to be when the lights come on and you say, no, that is done. That is over. I am so not walking that path anymore where it comes to matters of heart. But more than that, I do feel like something within you will feel restored. Part of you may feel like, finally, I'm thinking clearer. I am clearer, especially where it comes to matters of the heart, and you're able to make decisions from that position as well. Keep in mind, the sun right now is moving through a part of the sky for you that is quite romantic, early in the week, standing across Neptune. So as I shared in the introduction, this could be sort of an awareness of where you filled in holes because maybe you didn't want to ask too many questions, or maybe you thought you should ask and you got some answers and you just let them be. Well, this is really going to be, it's not just going to fly. You're not going to be able to just go along for the ride anymore. So if anyone out there is going to be asking some serious questions around an attraction or relationship or partnership, it will be you. So you will get some very clear insights into exactly where you are in terms of matters of heart, particularly, whether it's in an established relationship or particularly if it's somebody that you're interested in or that you're dating. That's when it's most likely going to be the situation where you're having to have a moment of honesty with yourself, which ultimately will empower you to move yourself positively forward. Finally, if you are one of those people who has been wanting to move, if you're one of those Taurians who's been thinking about changes to the home, wanting to move, I actually think that some really good news could find you related to matters of home, but also related to matters of family of origin, parents as well, especially as Venus is so powerful. A matter will come up very quickly, and a very positive movement forward will also take place that I think will please you very much. Hello, fabulous Gemini. This week, we have got Venus standing still in the sky, meeting Mars in a decidedly talkative part of your sky. And then you add to this lots of activity taking place in the home front as well, where you're looking at what has been, what you still desire to be as well, and what you desire to change. And so as I look at this, I mean, I think that there's going to be a lot of agreements. The real possibility to make some agreements could take place now. Changes to home, making financial gains around home, whether it's buying or selling, getting a mortgage, especially if it's related to real estate, very likely to take place now. Inheritances from family, also very strongly indicated with this energy. But mainly, I do think, at least where it comes to matters of heart, okay, so we've got that financial home connection playing out positively for you. Even though early in the week there might be a bit of a question, it'll resolve itself, you'll come out richer for it. But where it comes to matters of the heart, I think really this is going to be talking things out and really finding a sense of clarity from there. So a lot of Geminis out there are going to find themselves having to have a conversation, come up very spontaneously, very passionate, emotions, feelings very much on the surface for everybody involved, but ultimately ends up leaving you feeling stronger in matters of heart. So regardless of where you are, if you're in an established bond, or you're open to meeting somebody new, or especially if you're dating somebody as well, this is going to be that talk that really feels like you've propelled the relationship forward. And I actually think that a lot of Geminis out there are going to start feeling like, finally, my partner gets me in this. So there may be some area you've been trying to convince your partner, or trying to encourage them, trying to get them to see things your way, but it hasn't been working. Well, a spontaneous experience should allow you to present them with exactly what it is that you've been trying to get them to see. And they finally do see it, and you see the change in their face. And I think that it will not only delight you, but it really will make you feel like the relationship advances many, many steps forward in an instant. Hello, fabulous Cancer. This week we have got all this wonderful energy with Venus and Mars happening in a financial part of your sky. Now, this to me is getting good news around money. So whether this is having to do with money that you're spending or you thought you needed to spend, or money that you're earning as well. So for some out there, this could be a nice, it's still really great, right, to get some sort of a pay raise, okay? But I actually think for a lot of Cancerians out there, more than that, this is going to be where you thought there was an expense that actually isn't nearly as much as you thought it was going to be. where you thought that there was going to be some financial gain in a certain area, regardless of whether that specific area works out, you do end up richer over the course of this week. And what I also really like about this energy is it's got this really great energy that has to do with saying, I am worthy. I am worthy of great prosperity. And that statement alone, and also your circumstances, are going to show this to you as well. So there's going to be a real drive now to experience prosperity, to experience abundance, and also an absolute conviction that you deserve it. And that alone will ensure that you're doing what you need to, that you're clearing your personal energy, yes, but also you're taking the action you need to actually ensure that you do come out richer as we move into the week. We've also got the sun really active in a very talkative part of your sky. I actually think early in the week you're going to have a conversation that's going to be downright confusing, okay? You know, I'm always going to be honest with you. Don't worry about it. You'll get your answers very quickly. But I have a feeling that for some Cancerians out there, maybe they've been looking towards something in a certain direction, either having to do with higher education, a legal matter maybe as well, an immigration matter maybe as well. And so it looks as if, as I see the sky for you, it looks as if you may get advice, or you may have a meeting, or you may have a conversation that leads to just more questions and leads you feeling like, whoa, that person really did not get me, or that person did not help me. Oh my God, what am I doing here? Who am I to think I could actually go to university? Something like that. Don't give into any of that energy, okay? Yes, there might be an interaction, and again, especially around these matters I mentioned, that is a little bit unclear. Don't worry, put it to the side, and then approach it again as you move into the week, okay? As you get to the end of the week. You may have to talk to another person, and that will get you the answer that you need. And actually, I think it may surprise you. So the first answer you get, particularly the earlier in the week it is, might not actually be the whole picture. That doesn't mean that somebody's deliberately trying to deceive you, but it just may mean that they are presenting you with what they know, but it actually is not the full picture. And when you get a fuller picture, you'll be much more empowered, you'll feel much more secure, and you'll feel a really positive forward momentum taking place for you. And you'll feel a real sense of your own power to make things go in a very positive direction. Hello, Fabulous Leo. This week, we have got Venus and Mars meeting in your sign. It really does not get much more romantic than that. That is a super romantic vibe, super encouraging, and just heart wide open, very open to possibilities, and also feeling the love. That's really what it comes down to, feeling the love. So whether you're in an established bond or not, certainly your charms, okay, will be very much on high. Your desire to present yourself as fabulously as you can will very much be on high, and very easy for you to actually manifest and have come together for you. And also, where it comes to, regardless of where you are, where it comes to the love department, if you're in an established bond, I think you will feel like you have everything that you want where it comes to matters of heart. That is going to be the dominant feeling. If you're dating somebody, certainly there'll be at least one moment that is a standout moment in you getting to know this person. That's all I'm going to say about that. And if you're open to meeting somebody new, this really can be just, you know, you going out, you walking, attracting all kinds of attention and loving it, just loving it. Now, those of you born right around the 7th or 8th of the month are going to be feeling this energy more than others of your sign might, but everybody out there will be benefiting from this energy, and especially everybody out there of your sign will be benefiting from this energy. Now, I know that Venus is going to be standing still. Venus is still in shadow. Not the greatest time for a huge makeover, not the greatest time for a big, you know, throwing out all your clothes, getting a whole new wardrobe in a whole different style. Maybe not the best time for that. However, it is truly an amazing time to at least be open to inspiration and to be open to seeing where that inspiration leads you and allows you to attract, making some changes that truly feel right in your spirit, in your soul, that make you feel that something, more of your heart, more of your beauty is more easily expressed, inside beauty and outward beauty as well. So think of changes along those lines, and I think, and especially if they're subtle changes, I think that they will have a huge and wonderful impact for you. Hello, fabulous Virgo. This week we have got the sun in your sign. Now, the sun will, early in the week, be speaking with Neptune in your opposite sign before moving on and speaking in supreme harmony with Pluto. I want you to focus on that. Focus on that conversation that is supremely harmonious, very lucky, very fortunate, very empowering as well. As I spoke about in the September monthly horoscope for your sign, we are entering eclipse season, and it is going to be an eclipse in your sign that is going to kick off the whole thing. And as this whole new bright beginning is kicked off for you, you really are going to start to notice things change very rapidly. Well, this week is going to give you that glimpse, is going to give you that conviction to trust yourself and to have that insight into where exactly it is you want to go and what it is that you need to align yourself with a little bit more so that you can maximize the potential that is coming up very, very soon as we approach the middle of the month. So early in the week, we have this conversation happening between Neptune and the sun in your sign. This is getting the wrong information. I mean, this is really just the information you get very likely will miss the mark, especially when it comes to partners. I'll be really honest with you. People around us, the people we trust, they can do the best that they can sometimes. But sometimes they think they know the answer, but they actually might not. That might really be the case, especially early in the week, if you're asking the question early in the week. But it might also be, and I'm always going to be honest with you, always. But when I look at this conversation, it might be, yes, that the person doesn't realize that they're giving you the wrong information, but it could also be that the person does realize that they're not giving you the correct information. So whatever it is, whatever kind of conversation you have early in the week with whomever, if it leaves you feeling confused, if you feel more confused, if you feel really disappointed, you feel really down, you feel like the person doesn't get you, you feel like a door is closed, don't give into it because it's an illusion. It's not the real deal. It's not what's really going on. In just a few days later, as we move progressively into the week, you will find that the answer that really is the real answer and the answer that empowers you, the answer that energizes you will come for you as well. Very positive time taking place for you. And as I said, this is really going to kick off that conviction that you can have the life you want, that you can make changes, and that you are going to make changes that put you truly in alignment with who it is that you are in your heart and allowing that to shine forward that much more easily. The other thing, though, the way that this can manifest actually, because as I said in the September monthly horoscope, the eclipse that's coming up for you this month is very potent. It's huge. It is very significant as well. And when I see an eclipse like this, big changes, sweeping changes are possible that reach right to the level of identity. And so when I see this particular conversation happening early in the week, I actually think for some of you out there, this might be a little bit of like a mirror being placed in front of you. And what I mean by that is you might think of yourself one way, and then you see someone else actually being that way or being that person or owning that identity. And you realize like, oh my God, yeah, there was a time I was one of you, but I'm not one of you anymore. And seeing yourself really differently and not necessarily knowing what to do. Being like, oh, if I let this go, who am I going to be now? As I shared again in the monthly horoscope, I said in the monthly horoscope with the eclipse like this, I have seen people go through dramatic shifts. I have seen people, I remember seeing one person, they were really into cannabis culture, like a hardcore, everything had the leaf on it, and they just quit altogether. They said, no, I'm done with this. I've seen a person who was vegan for 10 years start eating meat again. I have seen someone who all of a sudden had an insight and said, you know what, I'm going to change my life. I am going to be vegan, and has been vegan for 20 years now, over 20 years. And it started with an eclipse like this. So this is the glimpse, okay? And especially early in the week, this is you seeing that identity. So if you are vegan, you're going to see somebody vegan. If you are a meat eater, you're going to see somebody who's a meat eater. If you are, if you love your cannabis, you're going to see somebody who loves their cannabis, and you're going to be projecting, and you're going to see yourself, and you're going to be like, oh my God, is that who I am? Like, I don't think that's who I am anymore. So this is going to be the week that really starts some really powerful changes that are set to come up with you. And I just want to say, look, there's no value judgment, right? Your ultimate obligation is to be true to who you are, even if that is a very different identity, a different person than you were, even if it's just a few days ago, who you were years ago. It's okay to be true to yourself, to honor yourself as you go through changes. And if changes are ever going to happen, it's really going to be this week for you. In matters of heart, it might very well be in matters of heart that because of who you are attracted to, or because of a partner ending up mirroring something to you as well, or showing you something about who you are, that ultimately leads you to make changes that really lead you to feel like the best of you, or at least a more honest version of who you are today is more easily able to come forward. Hello, fabulous Libra. This week, Venus meets Mars in a part of the sky for you that has to do with friendships. So I've been talking to you all summer. I spoke to you in the Venus special horoscope as well, all about how this Venus retrograde was going to be speaking to you. Well, all those things that I spoke about, you can just sort of amp them up 25 times, because that is the kind of energy that's going to be in the air for you. So if you have been playing out this energy romantically in the realm of friendship, then this is going to be a time when feelings are very much going to be on the surface. If you've been managing this energy, or manifesting this energy rather, in a platonic friendship, that also is going to be very much on the surface. Your feelings are going to be very much on the surface as well. So there's going to be lots of opportunity for you all around to learn a lot about yourself and what you really want where it comes to love. But also, I think for a lot of people, this is going to be deciding now how you're going to move forward in the context of a particular connection. So if it's been that, again, could be romantic, could be platonic, but if it has been that you have found yourself sort of in a situation where some really strong feelings have been coming up, and you've been striving to understand why that may be the case, this is going to be the time when that clarity starts to set in. In fact, when I look at the conversation playing out between the Sun and Pluto, especially as we get towards into the week, this to me suggests that it's almost as if an awareness from deep within you, whether it's through while you're dreaming, or whether it's, sort of having a moment, an awareness all of a sudden coming up and changing everything. So wherever it is that maybe you haven't been completely honest with yourself, or haven't wanted to totally look at what's really going on, whether it's been in terms of denying yourself, or in terms of doing what you wanted to do, if you haven't been completely honest with yourself in terms of the actions you've chosen, this is going to be the time when you're able to do that. When you're able to see why it is you've made the choices you have, what is right for you, what feels right for you in your spirit and in your soul, and decide to move forward from there, from that place. What I really love about this week for you also, though, is that there's a sense now that love should match some of your higher ideals. That love should be something that is in alignment with wishes that you have for your life. It should be part of, and should be an expression of you living that higher wish. So even though there's a lot of idealism, a lot of lofty energy where it comes to love, chances are, because you're holding those ideals, you'll be able to make choices from that place. So if you're in an established bond, I think, and I'll be really honest with you, I'm always going to be honest with you, but I actually think if you're in an established bond, there might be some feelings coming up that you feel you haven't been able to talk about, that are complex, that you maybe even feel a little bit guilty about. Ultimately, it is about learning about yourself and understanding the root of whatever it is that is arising for you and moving forward from there. So there's a real sense now of aligning yourself with some higher ideals that work for you and raising your awareness, raising your understanding of a particular situation. Whether that situation has to do with an attraction that is romantic, for some of you, it might be a situation that is more financially related. Regardless, this is going to be you really starting to be honest with yourself about what's really been going on with you and how now you can bring a more healing energy, an energy of elevating the relationship that you are committed to. For those of you who are dating somebody, this energy should be really interesting. I mean, I think actually if you're dating somebody, this is going to be a friend giving you a whole other perspective that makes you go, okay, now this perspective could go either way. It could be a perspective that is really great, like they're giving you a big vote of confidence with this person, and it could go the other way as well. So just be mindful of that and ultimately do with the information whatever it is that feels right to you. But it looks like a friend is going to have an opinion. It may or may not actually be rooted in reality. So again, be mindful of that as you move forward with that. Ultimately, you will know within your spirit what is the right action for you to take. And if it's really great news, you will know what it is within your spirit you are meant to do with it as well. Those of you open to meeting somebody new, again, it's through friends. Hang out with your friends, and a connection, a very genuine connection, a very passionate connection can be made. Now, likely this isn't going to be someone brand new, likely someone who has been sort of floating around your life the last few months, you haven't really been paying attention to, and then boom, there they are, there's the moment, and it seems to be something that brings a lot of joy. Hello, fabulous Scorpio. This week we have got Mars, your ancient ruler, meeting Venus in the sky, and we've also got the Sun speaking in supreme harmony with your modern ruling planet. This is amazing. It suggests that for you, this is going to be a week that not only has a very high level of romance playing out, so yeah, there's a romantic element to this week, but there's also something to be said for you feeling a real sense of awareness, a real sense of movement, a real sense of purpose, feeling clear on a level of mind, feeling like you're able to meet the right people at the right time and have the right conversation as well. Also, with this energy, there's a real sense of movement towards some of the higher goals and the things that you desire to achieve in your life as well. So what I love about this week for you really is that ultimately you are empowered. Of all the signs out there, I think you are going to use the events of this week to really come out a lot stronger than you are at the start of the week. And so you get a real clear sense with all the information that comes at you, financial information, heart-related information, career-related information, love-related information, all this news that comes out at you, ultimately, you connect it to you, and you start to understand, okay, what is it ultimately that really is going to help me to move my life in a direction that feels that I am getting better, and that feels like it's going to create some really positive momentum for me. And it's along those lines that you are more easily able to focus. So while other signs might be feeling a little bit distracted by some of the things that are happening in the sky, for you, there's a lot of focus, there's a lot of faith, there's a lot of belief, and there's a real sense now that you could take some very tangible action and reap some wonderful benefit as a result. So when I see a week like this, I think, schedule that interview. Come in prepared. Come in with your portfolio. Consider ultimately where it is, what goals you desire to achieve, and start reaching out to people to make that happen as well. And these likely won't need to be brand new people either, but people you already have these connections to. But also, just as you go about your day, as you go about your life, be willing to have those conversations. Especially if you live in a big city, it's so easy to put on headphones and just forget the world around you and just be very focused on what you're doing, right? I think in our modern world, it's sort of become a way that we protect our energy is by having headphones on and listening to whatever it is that we listen to, so that we sort of have this protective shield, because so much energy comes at us, especially if you live in a big city. This is going to be a time when maybe you want those headphones, the volume to be turned real low, or maybe you don't want those headphones to be on, because chances are it is going to be the most random conversation that grants you a really wonderful opportunity to change your life towards a direction that feels truly strong and empowering. Where it comes to love and the direction and purpose of your life have been very intimately linked over the course of this summer, and that is especially true right about now. So this week that becomes that much more true. And there really is set to be a moment of honesty where you look at where you are. And especially if you have a belief that if you have a relationship, for those of you who are not currently in a relationship, if you have that belief that in a relationship you might end up distracting yourself from achieving the things that you desire to, well, this is going to be you at least being honest with yourself about that. But I actually think this is going to be you starting to get a glimpse that, you know, maybe I can have both. Maybe I can continue to achieve the things I desire to while finding a sense of balance within being open to love as well. So that could be part of the revelation, part of the awareness that visits you. Those of you in an established bond or dating somebody, it does look like there's going to be some meeting, some conversation that really clarifies if the two of you really are moving in the same direction. Because you might have thought for a while that you were, and then you thought maybe we're not. Well, this is going to be when things really start to feel like they're coming together, and that clarity comes, which will allow you to really envision and to understand how you're going to move forward from here with someone that you care about. Hello, fabulous Sagittarius. This week we have got Venus and Mars meeting in a part of the sky in a fire sign, fellow fire sign for you in a part of the sky that is your home. So I've been talking about this all summer with this wonderful Venus retrograde season that we've been going through. So it is going to be those very issues that are highlighted right now. You being a fire sign are going to be feeling this energy more than some others might, but especially experiencing this energy positively. And what I mean by that is this is going to be a week that likely is very romantic for you, that likely feels that the best of you and who you are is able to come forward that much more easily and have the love that you desire, to have the love that matches the best of you. And so you are, in that sense, one of the more fortunate ones, especially in matters of heart this week. If you are manifesting this energy in matters of heart and love, then in an established bond, you're putting together an adventure. This is where it's like, okay, we are going to go. We are going to Vegas. We're going to go see that concert. We're going to, travel across the country. We're going to go to Europe. It's that kind of conversation that's taking place, and you're actually moving forward with it. If you are open to meeting somebody new, this is going to be the time, and especially because this energy has been there over the course of the summer, I actually think that the likelihood for those of you open to meeting somebody new, or you have somebody in your sphere, if that person, which is very possible, if that person lives in a whole other part of the country or in another country altogether, this is going to be when you buy your airplane ticket, I gotta say. For those of you who actually are with somebody in your own city, this is going to be you striving to want to understand their worldview more. So whether it's their culture, whether it's their language, in some way there's a real desire on your part to immerse yourself more fully in the bond that has been nurtured over the course of the summer. If you're one of the few Sagittarius out there who feels like, love has forgotten you, it's just sort of passed you over and you've been hanging out by yourself, This is going to be the time when love will motivate an adventure. So this is going to be the time when, if you've been thinking about going somewhere that has a reputation for being a real romantic place, this is going to be the time where you say, you know what, I'm buying that ticket. I am going. That conviction, that quick certainty comes, and you run with it. For those of you who are manifesting this energy differently, or in addition to manifesting it on levels of heart, for some of you out there, I actually think that this energy can manifest in terms of your work, and especially in terms of you making connections with people who perhaps live in other countries as well. So this is where people in other lands, if you will, or from other places, can actually be very fortunate for you in some way, can facilitate greater prosperity for you as well. Now, also taking place this week is that we have the sun in the top of the sky, in the very top of your sky, speaking with Neptune, speaking with Pluto. I actually think that as I look at this, I actually think that there might be some inner doubt, inner uncertainty in the early part of the week as to what you really want to do, what you really want to achieve. Do you want to go for that promotion? Do you want to go for that job? Is it going to work for you? Is it not? And then as we approach the end of the week, I think you're going to feel like you've made the right choice, or things are moving favorably in the direction that you actually desire them to go. So there might be a little bit of uncertainty as you start the week, and a little bit of, okay, am I making the right decision? Am I doing the right thing? Or do I know what I'm even doing? Have I made the right move? But then as we approach in the middle of the week, the further you get into the week, I think you will find your groove, and very likely you will find yourself richer in many senses of the words. Literally, yes, possibly literally, but also in another sense as well, where you'll find yourself feeling richer on levels of spirit as well. And ultimately, it is happiness that is so much more important than just about anything else, especially a paycheck. So I think, yes, there's money there, and that's really good, but there's also a lot of happiness there as well, which makes the moments of this week, which makes the advancements that you make this week that much more precious to you. Hello, fabulous Capricorn. This week we have got Mars meeting Venus in the sky, amping up the romantic energy, amping up all the stuff that I've been talking to you about over the course of the summer with the Venus retrograde season. So all those issues that have been coming forward for you, the issues that you've been having of wanting something really substantial, really significant, something really honest as well, are going to be very much on the surface for you. So there's going to be a real desire to have a sense of bonding with another person that goes beyond just the superficial. Now, what's also really intriguing to me about what's taking place this week that I really think is going to be so great for you is that the sun is going to speak in supreme harmony with Pluto in your sign. This is huge. This is wonderful. This is great for all of us, because when Pluto and the sun speak this way, it tends to bring with it some very easy energy, a really easy way to understand how you can focus, how you can harness your light, and for you in particular, what it is now that you can do that ultimately is going to allow you to have even bigger breakthroughs further down the road. What is it that you need to put into place now so that you can manifest amazing things for yourself as part of the bigger picture of your life? So this is going to bring with it possibly it's sort of like the rumor, or you sense or you know that some possibility is coming up for you, whether it is to earn a credential, whether it is just knowing that things are working in your favor and they're going in the direction you want. It's very much in the wind. Now, some really big changes are going to be coming up as we progress further into the month, as I spoke about in the horoscope for this month, for the month of September. But this is going to be that first insight. This is going to be that first understanding, getting sort of a feel of what direction things are going in, and feeling more and more empowered because of that as well. And what I really love about this particular week for you is that there's very likely to be, yes, a real opening of heart and a vulnerability that you're able to express that much more easily. And at the same time, you have that sense of groundedness to keep some of your goals about you, to not just get carried away and swept away in matters of heart, matters of what you want, or even, I gotta say, for a small percentage of you, there might be a situation that you're being a little bit obsessive about. Well, this is going to be the time when you sort of snap out of it, or you start to snap out of it, if you are one of those few Capricorns who's been having those types of experiences. You snap out of it, you say, okay, wow, I've been obsessing over that, but I have work to do. I want to do this, I want to manifest this, and this is going to allow me to feel that much more beautiful, that much more attractive, making these changes. It's going to empower me that much more, and you run with that awareness. Ultimately, it is you that has the power, and I think there's also going to be a very profound awareness that it is you that has that power. And from that knowing, from that certainty, and from that deep connection to knowing who you are, this really is set to be a week where not only in matters of heart do you get to the truth and embrace it and feel grateful to know it, but also where it comes to matters of your overall life picture, you will really find yourself having a sense of direction and having a sense of knowing where to go and taking steps along those paths. Hello, fabulous Aquarius. This week we have got Mars and Venus meeting in your opposite sign. So of all the signs out there, right, it really is the Leos, the Aquarians, and the Arians out there, right? Aries, those are the sign of Aries, who have been getting the most potential out of this particular Venus retrograde season in terms of matters of heart. And so this really is going to be a very important moment for you where it comes to you feeling loved and you feeling open to love as well. And so if you're in an established bond, yes, there's passion associated with this, but I also think that there is a sense now of having this person not only very much on your side, but that you're moving in the same direction, that you understand each other, that there's a certain flow that's taking place, there's a certain clarity that is taking place as well, that is allowing you to feel a sense of momentum growing. I also think that this suggests, if you're in an established bond, a real sense of understanding. So both of you are motivated by the same thing. Both of you are on the same page, and both of you are excited about what it is that you are looking forward to as well. So you're looking forward together and having a deepening of that connection at the same time. Those of you who are dating somebody, I think that this energy is going to make you feel that much more lovey with this person, if you will, that much more drawn to this person as well. And you may find yourself sort of making some plans and things like that as well. Now, with this particular energy, yes, it's very passionate, but keep in mind, right, you know, as I said in the introduction, even though this energy plays out more romantically for you than most, there's also these other elements that are going to play out very strongly as well in this as well. So what I mean by that is it may very well be you that feels a little bit uncertain, has some questions, feels that, okay, you're getting one answer, but what really is the truth? And once you get it, you're able to run with it. That feels like you're getting some information, and ultimately that means you have to sit down with your partner and say, what's going on? And that lends itself to that deeper connection as well. So there is that element, but I have to also say with this week, even though there's that romantic energy playing out, again, in an established bond, the bond deepens. Dating somebody, getting to know somebody, a truth comes out. Okay, this is like, especially if you met this person right around the start of this Venus shadow back in June, late June, or you started up a relationship with this person in late July when Venus first went retrograde. This is going to be the time, this is very likely going to be the week when you go, oh wow, okay, that's the truth. Ah, that's interesting. That's very likely going to be the reaction. Those of you open to meeting somebody new, this is when a real connection is very possible as well. And again, it's going to be with somebody that is in the ether. It's not going to be somebody like who comes out of nowhere, but someone who in some way you've already met, or you've seen around, or you've in some way already had some kind of connection with, regardless of how superficial or how out there. Maybe you attended a party and you saw them and just said hi, but then forgot about them. This is when things start to really come together. Now, the other thing I did want to talk about, the Sun speaking with Neptune, the Sun speaking with Pluto as well. Money is going to be very much on your mind with this particular energy, and money is also going to be a focus. It's like you're trying to get it, you're trying to figure out where to spend it, what's the smart move, what you should be doing. There is the possibility early in the week, I'll be honest with you, there is the possibility that it looks like there's some sort of expense, but it may not actually be something that's worth putting your money towards. So what I mean by that is, it's almost as if I see somebody saying to you, okay, you're gonna have to put a deposit on this right now, or else it could go in 5 minutes. You've got to get this done in this moment. And it's not necessarily pressure, but it's not an accurate view. That's a more accurate way to say it. So it could be that you feel that money needs to go in a certain direction when really you have more time than you realize. It could also be that you feel that a lot of money is going out, and the reality is that there's actually a lot of strength building where it comes to money and where it comes to finance. And so if an expense is part of that, you have to figure out how to deal with your expenses with gratitude and faith. You've got Neptune moving through the part of the sky for you that has to do with spending and regular earned income. And so because of that, part of a long-term lesson that's going right into next decade as well, make sure you root yourself, make sure you connect yourself to faith where it comes to your finances, and align your finances with a sense of spiritual direction and spiritual purpose. And I think that, more than anything, will help you stabilize. Don't let yourself get pressured into something that doesn't feel right, or don't kid yourself about something that doesn't feel right as well, because you feel like there might be a lack of opportunity. There's actually much more opportunity than you realize, and actually there's going to be a really big opportunity to gain a whole lot of money, and in fact a financial boon that very well will come from some kind of funding like grants, loans, bursaries, insurance payments, tax returns, the type of money that comes from passive income, work that you did before, stuff you've done and you forgot about, now coming back to you with a really lovely financial bonus as part of that package. Hello, fabulous Pisces. This week we have Neptune in your sign and the Sun across from that Neptune. This is some really interesting energy playing out for you. I think for all Pisceans out there, this energy is very likely going to play out in terms of your relationship, in terms of love. If you're in an established bond, I think that you might have an interaction with your partner that leaves you feeling more confused. Also, I'll always be honest with you, there might be a sense of disappointment around an established bond as well, whether it's a business partnership or a romantic partnership. So it may feel like you're giving a lot more than you're getting. You may feel a sense that, is this person sort of matching you where you are? Particularly, I have to say, there's an element here playing out that suggests to me it has to do with finances as well. So is this person really matching you at the level of finances? Are they giving as much as they're taking? This is going to be part of the consideration in the very early part of the week. But as we progress more and more into the week, a lot of those questions become resolved. So there's no need to, give into issues of unfairness. That's sort of the general feeling I'm seeing for some Pisceans out there, a feeling of unfairness related to a partnership. You don't need to give in to that. As we progress later and later into the week, it looks like there's such a heartwarming moment where you really feel, if you're in an established bond, you feel like you're with your friend. If you are open to meeting somebody new, this is really feeling like a friend has your back, and possibly could start making you think that this could be more. You do have Venus and Mars right now. Venus standing still in the sky, preparing really, by the time we get to the end of the week, standing still in the sky, beginning to go direct with Mars, right? Meeting Mars in the sky. So there's lots of passion in the part of your life that has to do with your workplace and the work you do. So either you're pouring your heart and soul into your work and it's fabulous, right? You're really producing stuff that you feel you can be really proud of. You're energized, you're motivated, you're creatively inspired as well with the work you're doing. So that's one way this energy can manifest. But another way is like office romances. This is going to be a time when that energy is going to be very, very high. And so if there's been some tension over the course of this summer, if there have been some questions over the course of this summer, this is going to bring that clarity. This is going to start to say to you, okay, what actually is the reality? Well, how actually now are we going to go forward? So there should be a moment of honesty that ultimately feels that it is empowering you in matters related to heart. But again, where it comes to work, this is a time that can be really, really productive and that you really like what it is you're producing. And if you're self-employed, especially, I think the clients, the assignments that you attract right about now have the potential to be tremendously prosperous for you, and have the potential also to open your mind to even more possibilities that are possible in terms of your work and in terms of how it is that not only can you create a more rewarding experience with the work you do, but also create a lot more prosperity for yourself as well. Well, thank you so much to all signs out there. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.